Let's do it. Hi everyone, and welcome to Deadhouse. This is the Goosebumps Book Club. For the official launch, what we thought we would do first is share some of our memories and things about collecting Goosebumps. And we would like to, at the end, get feedback from you guys about your memories and experiences collecting Goosebumps. So we thought this would be a really nice way to start the club instead of just going right into the first book.
Yep. I picked this up recently. It is the Collector Tin, the yellow-greenish one. There is another one that's purple for the 25th anniversary that I've got my eye on, but I'm already doubling up on my shelf space. And I have the books, so it's going to take a little bit of time before I buy that one.
But it is nice to have the tins.
It's the collector
item.
It's
one of those things.
Right? In the Goosebumps Collector Tin, you have, I think, 4 books. Is it 4?
Well, you know, I don't have one of these tins yet.
Sorry. Okay, so it's 5 books, and in there's a sleeve. It says it is the original Scare, which is kind of true, but they're not the original books. They're the new release of the books.
But they're new releases of the books that have the original cover art.
Right, the cover art is the same. So this is an example of one that's in the tin. The same cover art.
My personal favorite.
Yes, that's why I brought it. And the back, yes, I have the same information, and it still says Scholastic on it, because that's where they were mostly sold from in our area.
Well, I think Scholastic was in charge of it anyway, and I think it was their kids' imprint at the time, which was like Parachute Press or something.
Oh, okay. So, through rebuilding my collection through secondhand shopping, I happened upon the actual original release of the book. It's a little more worn for wear, and there might be tape holding it together, but here's the original. What you'll notice on this, though, is on the spine, is that right? Yep. On the spine is the number in the series, and that one is not actually on the new one. So if you're trying to rebuild your collection and you see the new ones out, the cover art is the same, but you're going to have to know the sequence numbers as well as the full name of the book.
Yeah, because none of the new ones have any numbers on them.
No.
Which is kind of strange.
Right. And so when I was making my list to rebuild my collection, making sure I get every single one, I put them in order of number of released back, like it was when we were growing up. So when I was finding books without numbers on them, I had to go through each and every one of those titles until I found it. Real fun when you hit a high number. I'm rebuilding my collection from scratch because I made a unwise decision when I was gutting out my childhood bedroom, and I donated all of my books.
We've been there.
Yeah.
We've gotten rid of the childhood things we probably shouldn't have.
Yep. Yeah. I can even tell you exactly where I had my hologram necklace, and I have checked that location and it is not there, so I went deep with my gutting.
Yeah, that was the thing with Goosebumps. Holograms were like all the rage in the 90s. So there were hologram necklaces and lapel pins.
And bookmarks.
It is possible to do, though, because you've rebuilt most of your collection now just through going to secondhand stores and like garage sales and stuff like that.
Actually, only secondhand stores. I didn't see any at garage sales. But I hit the store a couple of times, as well as the big book sale that we have at our art center here. And I picked up maybe 11 or 12 at a time, and there's other days I might just pick up 1. So you just need to check back frequently because of the turnover in stock.
I've found where I still have my original books from when I was a kid. I had most of the series run anyway. I was only missing like a few scattered specific numbers. And so it's been a lot harder for me to find the books that I needed. Now, later on in the series, when they started doing a lot more of the You Choose the Scare and the Series 2000, I didn't have as many of those because it was around that time period when we were in junior high and we stopped getting the Scholastic book orders. So I had very few from those runs. So I've had some luck finding some of those I don't have at the thrift store. But as for like the original, you know, numbered set, I haven't found any. to go in my set for the numbers I'm missing, I found that you find a lot of the exact same numbers repeated over and over at the
more
thrift
popular
stores.
ones.
Like the Abominable Snowman is there a lot, and Monster Blood is there a lot, and what book is number 14? I can't remember the title, but I remember like I see book 14 there a lot as well. So you keep coming across the same, like a lot of the same numbers over and over, which is a little weird. I guess people who are never into it but picked up the most popular at the time.
Yeah. But yet, it took me a year and a half to find The Barking Ghost, and I only found one copy.
You know what, and I have never seen another copy of that, other than the one that you've picked up. We usually do the thrift hunting together. It's a pastime.
Yes. Yep.
One thing I did manage to find from the original run that I've been trying to get is this one, which is It Came From Ohio, which is all about R.L. Stine.
Oh.
And it's got a holographic cover.
I'll imagine.
Which I'll have to show you an up close of because I know you can't see that from here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really cool because it makes the characters around him fade in and out, so it kind of looks like they're ghostly apparitions around him. This was part of the original run, as was one about the artist who did the original cover work. And that one's called It Came From New Jersey. And I am currently still trying to find that one really badly because I really, really want to have the books on the people behind it. I haven't had a chance to read this one yet either because I've only like semi-recently gotten it. And I was saving it to do as part of the book club, so that's why I haven't read it too soon yet.
So is that an online purchase or?
No, that was one like I happened to come across.
Okay.
But I've been looking for like this specific one for a long time, so I was like really happy to just like randomly see it.
That's your Barking Ghost.
Yeah, that's my Barking Ghost.
Okay.
In terms of like memories and stuff, did you watch the show growing up?
Did I watch the show? Yes, I watched the show. And I was a big girl watching the show because the credits didn't scare me like it did with Are You Afraid of the Dark? Nightmare inducing. But the Goosebumps credits.
The Goosebumps credits.
Legendary.
They were... I always found them hilarious. Always.
Yeah.
Always. They were super big and cheesy and over the top and very kiddie. And it was just ridiculous and hilarious. But the music for them, music for the credits was fantastic. I used to love to hear the credits start.
Well, you could pick it up just hearing a couple of notes and you know exactly what's going on and you know where you need to be.
Yeah. And I mean, I did watch the show, but unlike most of the things I watched as a kid that I really loved, I don't really remember the show very well. In fact, other than like the credits, I don't really remember the show that much at all. It didn't stick with me. I wasn't a big fan of it, and I know I didn't watch it throughout the entire life of it. I only watched it periodically. You know, in that vein, I was following Where Are You Afraid of the Dark? And Erie, Indiana.
Yep.
And Tales from the Crypt, both the cartoon and the live action. I wasn't as into the Goosebumps show, but it was based on the books that I loved so much. So I was like getting the Scatter episode. Yes. With the... Oh God, what was his name? It was the Blue Bug and the Maggot.
Yep.
I can't remember their names right now.
That'll come to us.
Yeah. Anyway, that was another cheesy one.
Yeah.
That was better when it first started with the little shorts they did where he was like at the zoo and stuff like that. And it was just the Blue Bug.
Yeah.
And then later it became a kid's show that came on regularly and he had a maggot sidekick. But I did have this on VHS. This is my childhood VHS. Goosebumps VHSs were not easy to find where we were necessarily. So when Mom found one, she bought it for me, and I believe this was a birthday gift one year.
Oh, okay.
And I watched this particular 2-part episode, like, repeatedly. And most of the reason I watched it over and over and over again, not just because I had it on VHS, was because I remember this episode making no sense whatsoever. And I was like determined to look at everything in the background and all of the character movements and try to figure out what I was missing and fill in blanks in the story, and it just never really happened. And because I was young, I never really thought to compare it to the book and see how close it was to the book and if there was like more information or not in the book that made it make more sense, because I remembered liking the story at the time, A Night in Terror Tower was one of my favorites. But yeah, I just watched this over and over, and interestingly enough, the only thing I remember about this is the main character, the young guy, being like fastest hands in all of London and being a really terrible pickpocket and thinking he was an amazing pickpocket and magician, and
that's it. That's the only thing.
That's all I really remember about this, even though I watched it a lot.
So now, when we're reading that book, are you going to go back to the movie and see if we can kind of compare?
Absolutely. I'm definitely going to go back and see if I can, like, figure out how it's different and what's missing. And
solve those childhood mysteries once and for all.
One new thing I did get was the Haunted Mask 2 on VHS. A secondhand video game store that I found it, which was really weird. They had a few movies there as well. And the only reason I really picked this up is because this was the copy, and I don't know how well you can see that there. This was the copy that they used to use at the video stores. It was specifically released to video stores. You know how they have the TVs up around while you were going to get rentals? And they would be playing different movies. This was one of those copies that they had released for previews only, for like to have on screen at video stores, so you would want to rent it. So this was not like a public available for sale copy. I mean, it is the same movie, exactly. It's just, I thought that was kind of a neat little piece of history.
Yeah. It was probably sold when whatever movie store was playing it shut down.
Yeah.
Because they're not really a thing now.
And ended up in somebody's game collection and ended up getting donated to that store, and they took it, and
now you have it.
Now I have it. I did have one of the board games.
Okay.
Growing up. And I had the Pog. You remember the Pog collection of Goosebumps? Yep. Did you have the Pog too? I feel like you did. You might have donated it, but I think I remember both of us collecting the Pog together.
Yeah, the Pog are gone. But I remember having a slammer with one of the monsters on it.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if I had any of the cardboard ones.
You would have, because the slammer came with a set of so many, and that was how you got the slammer.
Then that's what I had.
Yeah, and you got it. You probably got it from the Scholastic Book Club the same way I did, because it came with a little book that told you all the different Pog you could collect.
Was it like this the green yellow color that's on the tin? Is that the one I'm thinking of? Or am I thinking of
it's like orangey, I think.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to remember. I should have it out to show you guys, but I did do a few videos in the past on a bunch of Goosebumps stuff. Speaking of past videos, way long ago when I was first starting this channel, I did my top 5 favorite Goosebumps books.
Oh, lovely.
So now I'm going to ask you on the spot, what would you rank as your top 5 favorite Goosebumps books, just from memory, without having reread them?
It was definitely The Barking Ghost as the first one. I liked the Choose Your Scare, TikTok You're Dead. I liked The Haunted Mask. I read that one. I like that one. I'm only at 3. I used to read another Choose Your Scare one, and I don't remember the title of that one, but I know I don't have it in my collection.
Do you remember what the cover looked like?
No.
Because if I knew, I could maybe look it up and try to insert a picture of it.
I know it was silver. Like the hologram around it was silver.
Oh, was it the Mad Scientist one?
Yes.
Yes.
That's the one.
I can't remember the name of it, but I can totally insert the picture here.
And I really liked the Slappy ones.
Yeah, all the Slappy ones were classic, hey?
Yeah. Something about that little puppet thing.
That always bothered me between the TV series and the books, because the Slappy in the TV series, I didn't even know that was meant to be Slappy at first, because he was this redhead thing, and Slappy was described as being one of those posh, hair slicked back, black-haired mannequins or dummies that you often saw. It was one of the most common.
And he was actually that was actually the cover on the book itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
he was always on the covers of the books, so you knew what Slappy looked like, not just from description, but you got a good visual.
Yeah, you got a visual going in.
And then you'd be suddenly faced with more contemporary version of it who was a redhead was very different.
Yeah.
For the book club, like we said, it's going to be roughly 2 books every month. One this month because we're only going to do it at the end.
Yep.
It'll be the 15th and the end of every month because they're short books. So we figure that's plenty of time to get through a book. Viewer participation, we've got some ideas. In addition to discussing stuff with us under the videos as they come out, every once in a while as we build up some questions and viewer interaction, we're going to do some segments called Questions from the Ghost Next Door. We're going to use our Twitters. If you want to interact with us, your Twitter is?
MRS_JWill. Yeah. We'll put it up.
We'll make sure it's up.
Yeah.
She doesn't normally have to describe her Twitter address to anyone, so it's fine.
No, it's the same on different things. So.
Yeah. Mine is at a glitter macaroon with 1 T and 2 O's. And that's an old Disney Tailspin joke that I love. For some reason it means 2 O's.
Yeah.
You can at either one of us, it doesn't matter. Make sure you use the hashtag GBC Ghost Next Door for anything related to the Goosebumps Book Club.
Yep.
And we will regularly check the hashtag, and like I said, we'll do a session where we actually like answer some questions for you guys on video and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And feel free to list your favorite books that way too, and we can kind of figure out the overall viewer favorites. And
yeah, maybe at some point we might hold a Twitter poll and do a vote and see how many people like a certain book the most.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
Fun stuff.
We hope you join us for this.
Yes.
We're very excited. It's going to be interesting, to say the least, to go back and read something that I literally had not read since I was a child, but feel very attached to.
Well, we've been building on this now for a year and a half-ish while I've been building my collection. We've been kind of throwing around the idea of possibly doing this, and now here we are.
Yep, here we are. It's finally happening. So join us at the end of the month for our first book, which is going to be obviously book 1 and the name of the club. Welcome to Deadhouse. We'll see you all then, and until next time,
reader beware.
You're in for a scare.
So what do you think about the Goosebumps movie itself?
I haven't seen it yet.
This is over. We were talking about Slappy, and he's on your shirt.
Oh yeah. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, I do have him on my shirt right now.
There we go.
I'm sure that worked.
Yep, we got that.